My name is Christina Jones, and I'm a mom in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'm an adoptive mom. Adoption was never anything that was ever on my radar when I was a little girl. My only familiarity with it was within the circle of infertility, and that just wasn't my story, so I just never even thought about it. And then in 2010, my husband and I were living in Houston, Texas, and we had 3 boys that were 2, 4, and 6, and we were kind of your typical just middle-class suburban family. We were kind of rocking along in our life and doing our thing, and started feeling the weight of our privilege and the weight of the resources we have, and knew that we needed to do something about it. We had a 5-bedroom house, and our boys all liked to sleep together, so there was 3 bedrooms in our house that weren't even being used, and it just kind of started to feel gross to us. So we pursued a couple of different things and ended up landing on foster care, and we became foster parents. And when you enter the world of foster care, it's like a twilight zone. It's just so crazy. You just really are putting yourself at the mercy of someone else, and at the court system, really. It is such a bizarro world because you just can't make any plans. You have no idea what your family is going to look like in a month and 6 months. You can't plan for vacations. You can't anticipate even just years down the road how many children you're going to have. There's caseworkers in and out of your home all the time that are kind of like intrusive mother-in-laws telling you what to do and what not to do, and what you can do with these kids and what you can't. And you're like writing down medication. I mean, like, you feel like a daycare worker / therapist / chef / social worker. It's just the most bizarre role to put yourself in. But our first placement was a 3-year-old boy and his 1-year-old brother, and kids just get dropped on your doorstep. It's just, I can't even describe it. If you're not involved in foster care, I just can't even describe to you what it's like. They just show up at your door terrified because it's the worst day of their life. You don't know anything about them. You don't know when they ate last. You don't know if they're allergic to anything. You don't know if you're about to kill them because you give them strawberries when they can't have it or whatever. It's just this crazy situation. In fact, for 3 days, the 3-year-old wasn't really saying a whole lot, and we just thought, oh, maybe he's speech delayed, because that can be common. Developmental delays can be common with kids that come into foster care. And then one day I heard him playing in our playroom, and he was rolling this car, and he just said some gibberish and was like, blah, 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 caro. And I was like, oh my goodness, he speaks Spanish. He'd been in our home for like 3 days, and we didn't even know he spoke Spanish. That's what this world is like. And then about 4 or 5 days later, we had another surprise. The caseworker called us and said that the birth mom had another baby, and would we take the sibling? And they really emphasize in training keeping siblings together. This group of kids was a sibling group of 5, and there was 2 girls that were in another home, and so we said yes to the baby. So we had 3 of the boys in our home. And it was insanity. We had 6 boys. Our oldest was 8. My husband was actually the stay-at-home parent, and I worked full-time. I mean, you're just juggling everything. You're juggling the visits twice a week. You're juggling the caseworkers. You're juggling the judge. You're juggling. It's just insanity. Like, I just don't remember 2011 to 2012. I'm thankful for Facebook, because that's how I can know that year really existed, because we were just surviving. We had the boys for about 11 months, and then their birth mom got them back, and we were so excited for her and so proud for her. But also, it's as horrible as you think it is to love on kids in your home for that long and then lose them. We cried and cried. There was a little bit of relief because we were going from 6 kids back down to 3 kids, and that is infinitely easier. And so it was just this weird time of emotional roller coaster. She had them back about 6 weeks, and we'd become good friends, and she reached out to us and just said she was struggling. Like we all know who are moms of a bunch of little kids, it's really hard. Raising little kids is really hard, and she was a single mom and trying to do it on her own, and she just didn't have resources and help, and the boys had been used to us for the last year and still thought of us as mommy and daddy, and so she just said, I think you need to adopt him. And so that was kind of a surreal time in our life. We were in the middle of moving to Arkansas, and so we kind of had to split the 2 states for a while until the adoption was finalized. But we got it finalized, and we got it settled, and it was kind of insane. I really had a hard time telling people I had 6 kids. I just felt like that was so many children. At my new job, people would ask me how many kids I had, and I'd say, oh, I have 3 boys and I'm adopting 3 more. Like I could not say I have 6 kids. Ironically, we were traveling for Christmas one year and driving way across country from Arkansas to California, and it was like, sentimental and Christmas, and the boys were listening to a movie in the van, and my husband was on vacation, and no one had to mess with homework, and I wasn't working, and I just kind of looked at my husband and caught up in the moment and said, I think we could do 2 more, which is insane. But in Arkansas, the limit for foster families is 8 kids. And so we got back into the foster care system in Arkansas and really wanted to just do straight adoption. We wanted to adopt 2 more boys because, I already had 6. I knew how to do boys. Rights were already terminated. We didn't want to foster again because we didn't want kids coming in and out of our home. We thought that would be hard for our 3 new boys to kind of feel secure in our home when kids kept coming in and out. That plan didn't work out. We didn't ever get matched. Caseworkers thought we had our hands full for some reason. But long story short, we ended up doing respite care for a little girl that a friend of mine had as a foster placement. And then the judge said that she needed to be with her brother because he was also in care, and he thought that the case would go on for a while. So we had 2 beds open, so we welcomed them into our home, and about a year later, the rights were terminated and they were our forever kids, which is just crazy. I did not want little kids again. I did not want to potty train another boy, but that's what happened for our family. So this is us now. That's my oldest and my youngest. My oldest is 16 and my daughter is 5. She'll be 6 soon. We are quite the blend of cultures and personalities and colors. Even 2 of my bio kids who are white have red hair. So we are quite the circus. I love it. I love my life. I love being an adoptive mom. I feel like nothing has challenged me or grown me more than learning to love children who are not mine, especially when you get into adoption through foster care, because you really are that, when they're in foster care, you really are constantly pointing them back to their birth family. I am someone that believes that adoption is like plan B, that babies should be in the families they were born into. And so that's your goal, is to get them back there and to get that family stable again. And so it's a little bit weird when it doesn't work out, and then plan B becomes your life and you're forever. And I'm so grateful for it. I kind of say I became the mom of 8 by accident because we never planned on adopting. But when they were in our home and the rights were terminated, we knew that it was the right thing to do. And now they're my kids, and no one could tell me otherwise. I mean, it's a little bit different from raising biological kids, because with biological kids, when I had them, it was like he was mine. It was kind of this possessive kind of love, like he was mine, he was a part of me. But adoption is really the closest I have found to any kind of unconditional love, where it's like, I am your mother, even if you don't choose me back, even if the attachment is hard in the beginning, like I choose you, I choose this on purpose, I'm going to be your mother. I have never loved unconditionally like that. And it's the most beautiful thing. We have put the hard work in. We were kind of this group of strangers, but we have become a family, and I recommend it to anyone. But buckle up, because it's the hardest thing I've ever done.